रूपं तवेतन्ननु दुष्कृतात्मनां दुदर्शनं देव यतद्वरात्मकं छन्दांसि यस्य त्वचि बर्हिरोमा स्वाज्यं दृशित्वं ग्रीषु चातुहोत्रम् सक्तुण्ड आसीत् ध्रुव ईशनास्यो हृदोदरे चमसा कर्णरन्ध्रे प्राशीत्रमास्ये ग्रसने ग्रहास्तु ते यच्चर्वणं ते भगवन्नग्निहोत्रम्. Sorry,
Hare Krishna,
Mataji, I'll give you in
Mataji.
English. Sorry.
English has to be recited first before you go on to the next verse,
Yes,
please. Thank
Mataji.
you.
I forgot and then I wanted to complete the verse. Sorry.
And also the invocation.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll start 35 again. Sorry about that. Rupam tavetanunno dushkratatmanam dudarshanam dev yatadvaratmakam chandansi yasya tvachi barhiroma swajyam drashitvam grishu chaturhotram.
Hare Krishna. O Lord, your form is worshipable by performances of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic hymns, Gayatri and others, are in the touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is the kusa grass. In your eyes is the clarified butter. And in your four legs are the four kinds of fruitive activities.
Hare Krishna. Saktund asit ध्रुव ईशनास्यो हृदोदरे चमसा कर्णरन्ध्रे प्राशीत्रमास्ये ग्रसने ग्रहास्तु ते यच्चर्वणं ते भगवन्नग्निहोत्रम्.
O Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice. Your nostril is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma, and whatever you chew is known as Agni Hotra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. दीक्षानुजन्मोपसदः शिरोधरं त्वं प्रायणीयो दयनीयद्रष्टः जिह्वा प्रवर्क्यस्तव शीर्षकं क्रतोः सत्यावसध्यं चितयो सवोहिते.
Moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for three desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice, as well as the fire of worship, and your living forces are the aggregate of all desires. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. सोमः स्तुरेतः सवनान्यवस्थितिः संस्था विभेदास्तव देव धात्वः सत्राणि सर्वाणि शरीरसन्धिस्त्वं सर्वयज्ञक्रतुरिष्टिबन्धनः.
O Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called Soma Yajna. Your growth is the ritualistic performances of the morning. Your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agnistoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma, and you are bound by yagnas only. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. नमो नमस्ते अखिल मंत्र देवता द्रव्याय सर्वकृतवे क्रियात्मने वैराग्य भक्त्यात्मजयानुभाविता ज्ञानाय विद्या गुरुवे नमो नमः.
O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are worshipable by universal prayer. Vedic hymns and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisances unto you. You can be realized by the pure mind, freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. We offer our respectful obeisances to you as the supreme spiritual master of knowledge in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. दृष्टाग्रकोट्या भगवंस्त्वया धृता विराजते भूधरभूसमुधरा यथा वनान्नीः सरतोदता धृता मतङ्गजेन्द्रयस्य सपत्र पद्मिनी.
O lifter of the earth with its mountains, which you have lifted with your tusks, is situated as beautifully as a lotus flower with leaves, sustained by an infuriated elephant just coming out of the water. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. श्रीमयं रूपमिदं च सौकरं भूमण्डले नाथ दत्ताधृतेन न ते चकास्ति शृङ्गोडगणेन भूयसा कुलाचलेन्द्रस्य यथैव विभ्रमः.
O Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. Hare Krishna.
संस्थापयनां जगतां सतस्तुषां लोकाय पत्नीमसि मातरं पिता विधेम चास्य नमसा सह त्वया यस्यां स्वतेजो अग्निमिवारवरावदा. हरे कृष्ण.
O Lord, for the residential purposes of all inhabitants, both moving and non-moving, this earth is your wife, and you are the Supreme Father. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you, along with Mother Earth, in whom you are invested, in whom you have invested your own potency. Just as an expert sacrificer puts fire in the Arani wood. Hare Krishna.
कः श्रद्धितान्यतमवस्त्व प्रभो रसां गताया भुव उद्विबहर्णम न विस्मयोऽसौ त्वयि विश्वविस्मये यो माययेदं ससृजेति विस्मयम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Who else but you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could deliver the earth from within the water? It is not very wonderful for you, however, because you acted most wonderfully in the creation of the universe. By your energy, you have created this wonderful cosmic manifestation. Hare Krishna.
विधुन्वता वेदमयं निजं वपुर्जनस्तपा सत्यनिवासिनो वयं सटाशिकोद्भुतविश शिवाम्बुबिन्दुभिः विमृज्यमाना भ्रशमीश पावितः. हरे कृष्ण.
O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly, we are inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapas, and Satyalokas. But still, we have to be purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by the shaking of your body. Hare Krishna.
सवैवत भ्रष्टं तिसत्तवैशते यः कर्मणां पारम्पार कर्मणः यद्योगमाया गुणयोगमोहितं विश्वं समस्तं भगवन् विदेहि क्षमा. हरे कृष्ण.
O Lord, there is no limit to your wonderful activities. Anyone who desires to know the limit of your activities is certainly nonsensical. Everyone in this world is conditioned by the powerful mystic potencies. Please bestow your causeless mercy upon these conditioned souls. Hare Krishna.
मैत्रेय उवाच इति उपस्थीयमानसो मुनिभिः ब्रह्मवादिभिः सलिले स्वकुराक्रान्त उपाधत्तावितावनिम्। हरे कृष्ण।
The sage Maitreya said, "The Lord, being thus worshipped by all the great sages and transcendentalists, touched the earth with his hooves and placed it on the water.
स इत्थं भगवानुर्विं विश्वक्सेनः प्रजापतिः रसाया लीलयोन्नीताम् अप्सु न्यस्य ययो हरिः। हरे
In this manner, the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the maintainer of all living entities, raised the earth from within the water, and having placed it afloat on the water, he returned to his own abode." Hare Krishna.
य एवमेतां हरिमेधसो हरे कथां सुभद्रां कथनीयमायिनः शृण्वीत भक्त्या श्रवयेत पोषतीं जनार्दनोऽस्याशु हृदि प्रसीदति। हरे कृष्ण।
If one hears and describes in a devotional service attitude this auspicious narration of Lord Bo, which is worthy of description, the Lord, who is within the heart of everyone, is very pleased. Hare Krishna.
तस्मिन् प्रसन्ने सकलाशिक्षां प्रभो किं दुर्लभं ताभिरलं लवात्मभिः अनन्यदृष्ट्या भजतां गुहाशयः स्वयं विधत्ते स्वगतिं परः पराम्। हरे कृष्ण।
Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord Himself, who is seated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna.
को नाम लोके पुरुषार्थ सार्विता पुरा कथानां भगवत कथा सुधाम आपीय कर्णांजलिभिर्भवापः महो विरज्येत विना नरेतरम। हरे कृष्णा। सॉरी अबाउट द मिस्टेक्स आई मेड।
Who other than one who is not a human being can exist in this world and not be interested in the ultimate goal of life? Who can refuse the nectar of narrations about the personality of Godhead activity, which is by itself can deliver one from all material pangs? Hare Krishna. Thank you for opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shobna Mataji and Shama Mataji. Wonderful recitation that was. Thank you so much. Shiji Kishori Mataji, is it possible to make me, let me share the screen?
Yes, Mataji, I'll do it straight away. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. And maybe you can stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
I'm hoping for a better internet on my side today. If it fluctuates, I'll keep my video off. Otherwise, it's okay. Let's see. So, okay, great. I'm able to share the screen. Thank you. And are the PowerPoint slides visible now on the screen?
Yes, Mataji, we can see it nicely. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we'll recite prayers together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ॐ तत्सत् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी सतां प्रसङ्गान् मम वीर्यसंविदो भवन्ति हृत्कर्णरसायना कथः तज्जोषनादाशपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति तत्सत् Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and thank you so much for your association and allowing me to become Krishna conscious for the next 45 minutes or so. Thank you so much. So today's verses, we are still on chapter 13 on the last part where the sages are offering prayers to Lord Varahadev, and then Varahadev will return to his abode, and then there is Falashruti. So that's how the chapter concludes. But just to go through this chapter, just a quick summary is that in this chapter, Swayambhu, Manu and Shatrupa, they both appeared from the body of Brahma. And then Vidura asks many questions to Maitreya Muni after their appearance, like what Manu did and how did he serve his father Brahma. He also says in verse 4 that those who are eager to hear about Krishna should also be equally eager to hear about the Vaishnavas and dear devotees of the Lord, because hearing about the Vaishnavas is also very, very enlightening and purifying and spiritually uplifting. So we should be equally eager to hear about Lord's incarnations as well as about his dear devotees. So Swayambhu Manu appeared from Brahma's body, and then Manu is asking Brahma that what is the service for me? I appeared from your body and you have given me life, and I wish to use this life in your service. And Brahma is very happy with Manu's service attitude. So then he starts instructing Manu that you go to the planet Earth and start populating. So he is like a Prajapati from whom the further population within the Visarga would take place. So he has to start a population and beget children. And he says that they should be like you, similar in qualities, and they should also rule the earth very, very, very religiously, and they should worship Lord Vishnu by performing many yagnas, and by pleasing the Lord, you will attain all the auspiciousness. So, but one important thing is that if in your heart you don't have the intention to please the Lord, then whatever you do is Shrama eva hi kevalam. So similar, there is one really nice lesson from this, as Brahma is saying to his son Manu, that whatever you do, the intention should be to please the Lord. Otherwise, however much you work hard, it is Shrama eva hi kevalam, without some siddhir haritoshanam, right? Pleasing the Lord should be the purpose of our life, and by pleasing Him, we will actually be pleased internally on the soul level, because that's the real happiness. So in this way, Brahma instructed the Manu, and Manu accepts his order and says, okay, so I have to go to earth, but the earth is drowning in Garbhodaka ocean. So it needs to be retrieved because I need a place to stay and do my service. And then Brahma is meditating on the Lord, and we know that as he is meditating, a small boar comes out of his nostril. And we know in this chapter, like how we discussed, that two varahas are combined, as Maitreya Muni is explaining the pastime, that Shweta Varaha is the first Varaha incarnation that comes in Swayambhuva Manu's Manvantara. And the second one appears in Chakshusha Manvantara, sixth Manvantara, and that Varaha Devi is called Neela or Rakta Varaha, who actually kills Hiranyaksha. So in this way, verse 33, like up to that, we saw that how Lord will kill Hiranyaksha, and thereafter also how Lord's body is personified Vedas, and his body is a form of sacrifice. We discussed about that till verse number 38. And thereafter, there are various comparisons are given to Lord's form, like an elephant who is holding lotus, or mountain with clouds, father and mother, all these analogies are there. And then now the sages are going to offer prayers. So last prayer was very beautiful, prayer number 43, the previous verse, very beautiful. Sages are praying to Lord Varaha, that in Vismaya Rasa they are praying. Vismaya means wonder. So they are really in wonder that Lord, you took a beautiful, wonderful form, and like an elephant who is holding a flower, or you appear like a mountain with clouds. You are like father, and our mother is Mother Earth. So father and mother analogy they are giving. But in reality, actually, it's not astonishing at all when Lord does wonderful things, right? Because he does it so effortlessly, and anything is possible for the Lord, because he is full of wonders, and Lord surpasses all the wonders. And we know in Bhagavad Gita there is this verse 10.41, right? Yadyat vibhuti matsatvam, Yadyat vibhuti matsatvam Srimad Urjimam evava taddat evava gachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. Krishna says to Arjuna in 10.41, after describing all his vibhutis, that know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So it's nothing astonishing that all this world is full of wonders, and that is just a little spark of Krishna's splendor. So nothing is impossible for the Lord. So a devotee would not be wonderstruck. Devotee would understand that yes, anything is possible by my Lord, and he surpasses all the wonders. So then we come to verse number 44. So we will recite the verse. Very beautiful prayers. 44 and 45 are prayers, and 46 and 47, Lord will go back to his abode. So we will just one moment. There is, let me. Okay, so verse number 44. विदुन्वता वेदमयं निजं वपुर्जनस्तपसत्यनिवासिनो वयं सतासिखोद्धूतशिवाम्बुबिन्दुभेर् Vimrujyamana Brusham Isha Pavitaha. Synonyms: Vidunvata, while shaking. Vedmayam, personified Vedas. Nijam, own. Vapu, body. Jana, the Janaloka planetary system. Tapa, the Tapalok planetary system. Satya, the Satyalok planetary system. Nivasinaha, the inhabitants. Bayam, we. Sata, hairs on the shoulder. Shikha Uduta, sustained by the tip of the hair. Shiva, auspicious. Ambu, water. Bindubhi, by the particles. Vimrujyamanaha, we are the sprinkled by. Vrisham, highly. Isha, O Supreme Lord. Pavita, purified. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly we are inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapas, and Satyalokas. But still we have been purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by the shaking of your body. Purport. Anyone wants to read?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, please, Mitali Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Ordinarily, the body of a hog is considered impure, but one who shouldn't consider that the hog incarnation assumed by the Lord is also impure. That form of the Lord is the personalized Vedas and is transcendental. The inhabitants of the Jana, Tapas, and Shatyalokas are the most pious persons in the material world. But because those planets are situated in the material world, there are so many material impurities there also. Therefore, when the drops of water from the tips of the Lord's shoulder hairs were sprinkled upon the bodies of the inhabitants of the higher planets, they felt purified. The Ganges water is pure because of its emanating from the toe of the Lord, and there is no difference between the water emanating from the toe and that from the tips of the hair on the shoulder of the Lord bore. They are both absolute and transcendental. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. So this is a beautiful prayer here. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Lord is the personified Vedas and is transcendental. So we studied in this chapter, verse number 26, that was about the Lord who is personification of Vedas. And thereafter also verse 35 to 38, Lord Varaha's body is form of sacrifice. Right, we studied that also, and the form is completely transcendental. So here in the prayers, the sages of the upper planetary system, they are saying that Lord, your body is full of Vedas, and the water emanating from your body is purifying everyone. So now we know that here Varahadev is in the form of a hog, right? So, and we know that in this material world, we are here, and when we are, say, walking on the street, this is more possible happening in India rather than UK, is that we may have had this experience sometimes that, say, a pig, it comes out of sewage or gutter, and the pig will shake his body, and all that mud and the dirt that's on its body, if those droplets go on us, then what we will do? We will be contaminated and we'll need to take bath straight away. Like we'll go home and have to take bath and purify ourselves with the water. But and we will not be purified by these pigs, the sprinkles coming from its body. But when Varahadev comes out of Garbhodaka ocean, here we can see in this chart, Garbhodaka ocean, here when Varahadev comes out of this ocean and he shakes his body, like how the pigs shake their body, all the planetary systems, they are purified by the water. Now that is coming out of his body which is completely transcendental. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Transcendental means gunatita, above the material modes. It hasn't got a material body. The Lord's body is completely spiritual. It is Shuddha Sattva, above the modes. So because, and then whatever comes out of that purifies us. And another example we can think of is the aarti that the pujari ji say he offers in the temple. And when we go to attend the aarti, he offers the arghya, the water in the aarti, and when afterwards he will sprinkle all that arghya water on the people and devotees taking darshan, and they all get purified. So in the same way, because that water has become spiritual, it's offered to the Lord. So in the same way here, this water is on Varahadev, on his body. So how purifying. So Varahadev is a hog body, the water from him, when it falls on all the planets, we can see these planets are mentioned in the purport. The top planet here, Satyaloka, Tapoloka, Janaloka. So from here we can see how huge Varahadev's body is. All the 14 planetary system from Garbhodaka ocean to top, they all were sprinkled when he shakes his body with that water. And they all the three top planets and all the sages who live there, they are praying that they are getting purified. So this just one form of Varahadev, one boar who comes out of Garbhodaka ocean, and when he shook his body, all the 14 planetary systems are purified by the droplets from his body. So even though Lord appears in a form of a hog, he appears so beautiful and he is so purifying. He purifies everything. So, that the purity that is caused by the Lord, it does not depend on his form at all. Whether it is Varahadev or Nashingadev, or it is fish or a hog or a lion or tortoise avatar, they are always spiritual and beautiful. And he protects his devotees. And to the extent we appreciate the form of the Lord and the beauty, to that extent we will also get purified. Otherwise, say someone may see this Narshingadev's Ugra Swarup, right? And someone will get very fearful, but seeing the blood, the intestines when he kills Hiranyakashipu, it is very, very ghastly and very, very fearful. But devotee is not astonished at all by seeing the fearful form of the Lord, and that form does not create any fear in the heart of a devotee. And that's why even Prahlad Maharaj, when he offers his prayers, he says in this verse, नाहं बिभेम्य जिततेति भयानकस्य जीवार्कनेत्रभ्रुकुटीरवसोग्रदंष्ट्रात् आन्त्रशज शतजकेशरशङ्कुकर्णान् निर्ह्लादभीतदिगिबादरिभिन्नखाग्रात्. So Prahlad Maharaj says, my Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp, pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high, wedge like ears, nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. So you can see here that any form Lord appears, whether it is hog or half man, half lion, Lord's form is always beautiful and devotee is always fearless. So here we can see when it is mentioning the elephants is that when Narshingadev roars, there are four huge elephants. They are balancing the Bhumandala on four corners of the universe. They are so huge. You can imagine if they can balance the Bhumandala, how many tons or what would be their weight and how huge they would, but they become very perturbed and fearful. But young is Prahlad Maharaj, how small. He says that I am not fearful. Why? Because Prahlad Maharaj he's completely surrendered devotee of the Lord. So he actually gets very happy when Narsimhadev roars. He is not fearful. So I really liked this pastime and this story. And I just wanted to mention here that Varahadev's form, whatever is the form, it causes fearlessness in the devotee and it gives protection to his devotees, and it's always very beautiful. So that is the verse number 44. And yes, so in this purport, I just noticed two points that Lord is body is always transcendental, is very beautiful. And a devotee, by his devotion, appreciates the form of the Lord, and he's never fearful of the Lord's form. So we can see how the sages are also, and yes, Lord's form is purifying, totally purifying. So they were the main points from the purport from the 44th prayer. Now we are on 45th prayer, and someone also can read the purport afterwards if they want. So we'll recite the shloka. Savai bata भ्रष्टमतिस्तवैषते यः कर्मणां पारमपार कर्मणः यद्योगमाया गुणयोगमोहितं विश्वं समस्तं भगवन् विदेहिशम्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord, there is no limit to your wonderful activities. Anyone who desires to know the limit of your activities is certainly nonsensical. Everyone in this world is conditioned by the powerful mystic potencies. Please bestow your causeless mercy upon these conditioned souls. Purport?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, sure, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Mental speculators who want to understand the limit of the unlimited are certainly nonsensical. Every one of them is captivated by the external potencies of the Lord. The best thing for them is to surrender unto Him, knowing Him to be the inconceivable, for thus they can receive His causeless mercy. This prayer was offered by the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems, namely Jana, Tapa, and Satyalok, who are far more intelligent and powerful than humans. Vishwam Samastam is very significant here. There are the material, there are the material world and spiritual world. The sages pray, both worlds are bewildered by your different energies. Those who are in the spiritual world are absorbed in your loving service, forgetting themselves and you also. And those in the material world are absorbed in the material sense gratification and therefore also forget you. No one can know you because you are unlimited. It is best not to try to know you by unnecessarily mental speculation. Rather, kindly bless us so that we can worship you with causeless devotional service. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So again, a very beautiful purport here. Srila Prabhupada, I could understand a few points here very important to me. First of all, I can understand here, Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord's pastimes and his Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela activities, there is no limit to it. They are completely unlimited. The incarnations, the pastimes, everything. And the mercy the Lord bestows through these pastimes, we get so many lessons and we learn about great Vaishnavas from Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is only of this day of Brahma, right? About only like say up to 6 Manus are there in it, and 7th is the current Manu. Like that, every Kalpa there would be so many incarnations taking place. Brahma lives for 100 days. This is just one kalpa. So we can't even imagine, even it's impossible. It's just totally unlimited. So Lord's pastimes are unlimited. Like how many sand particles would be on the beach? Can anyone ever count? No, like that. And secondly, the second point I understand Srila Prabhupada mentions about the mental speculators. what they do is they will just do unnecessary mental speculation. Srila Prabhupada says, rather kindly, we should be offering the prayers to the Lord that bless us so that we can worship you with causeless devotional service. He says mental speculators who want to understand the limit of the unlimited are certainly nonsensical. They want to understand everything and they keep on speculating. Rather, the main point and the crux and the essence of all the essence of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is Bhakti Yoga, surrender to the Lord in loving devotional service. So, the best thing is for us to surrender and know Him to be inconceivable. And for thus, they can receive His mercy. If you surrender, you will receive mercy. So, one should offer prayers and not just go after speculating and trying to understand everything without faith. Then that will not lead us anywhere. As it is, yes, we got human birth, it is so rare, but then we have limited time here as well. So the intelligent person will surrender, and with devotion what will happen is they will gain knowledge, and with that knowledge they will be able to become humble, because those people who have lot of knowledge, they always think that I hardly know anything, because they know there is so much to know. Whereas those who have little knowledge, they think I know everything, and then in arrogance, they will not bow down, surrender, or offer prayer. But here we can see Srila Prabhupada says that inhabitants of higher planetary systems like Jana, Tapo, and Satyaloka, they are far more intelligent than us, than humans, and they are offering prayer in a very surrendered, loving, devotional mood, all the sages living there. So we should be following in their footsteps and offering prayers in a surrendered mood. So Lord's pastimes are apara, they are immeasurable, first point. And second point, Srila Prabhupada says in this purport that many people, they speculate about Lord, but instead one should offer prayers. So that's the first paragraph. So with knowledge comes humility, not arrogance. I had read this sentence somewhere and it really made me think many years ago that, okay, what this means. And then coming to Krishna consciousness, now I can understand with the help of Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev and seniors that yes, of course, if you are actually knowledgeable, you will know how little you are. And then you will surrender to the Lord and to Vaishnavas, and you will not be arrogant. Actually, you will feel so humble that what's my position? Who am I? There is so much to learn here and apply in life. So, one who is actually in knowledge understands that he does not know much, but one with less knowledge thinks he knows everything. So here we can see that these upper planetary system residents are offering prayers. So even we know in Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse 18.55, right? In this verse, it says here, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yas chashmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishite tat anantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And to come to this level, we need to surrender, we need to accept Krishna as the Supreme. So there is no question of arrogance here. We are coming to some knowledge, we are coming out of ignorance and understanding our position as servant of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das, right? And when one is in full consciousness of me, means when one understands Krishna fully by such devotion, then he can go back to Godhead, to the kingdom of God. So we can understand here that it is very important to understand this, especially speaking for me, I'm speaking for me here, that it's very important that if we actually surrender and take to devotional process that Srila Prabhupada has given, we will definitely gain knowledge. And when some knowledge will come, we will automatically understand our position and become a little humble. And there are also some really nice stories that I had, I was thinking to discuss if we have time. So first we will discuss this verse and one more point here. And then if I have time for story, then we can do that. So here also, Srila Prabhupada says that Lord's pastimes are unlimited, and we know this verse that how Ananta Shesha, since time immemorial, he is just glorifying the Lord with thousands of hoods, and he has not even finished speaking about the various incarnations. Forget about the detailed pastimes within those incarnations. So that's the second canto, beautiful verse. नान्तं विदाम्यहममी मुनयो ग्रजास्ते मायाबलस्य पुरुषस्य कुतो वराये गायन् गुणान् दशशतानन आदिदेवा शेषोऽधुनापि समवस्यति नस्य पारम्. Neither I nor all the sages born before you know fully the omnipotent personality of Godhead. So what can others who are born after us know about him? Even the first incarnation of the Lord, namely Sesha, has not been able to reach the limit of such knowledge, although he is describing the qualities of the Lord with 100 faces. So there is no limit to Lord's wonderful activities. And there is also here in the verse, it is saying Vishwam Samastam. That let's have a look, is very significant, these words Vishwam Samastam. There are the material world and then there is spiritual world, right? So the sages pray both worlds are bewildered by your different energies. Those who are in the spiritual world are absorbed in your loving service, forgetting themselves, and you also and those in the material world are absorbed in material sense gratification and therefore also forget you. So here this is very interesting. As I was reading, it's saying that both worlds are bewildered. So this we can fully understand, right? That we are in this material world, so we are governed by the Mahamaya, right? So there is obviously those who have taken to the process are understanding slowly. So yes, we will be able to surpass little bit if we stay in the mode of goodness and do what the acharyas say. But the main point is here in material world, everyone is after sense gratification. So they are overpowered by Mahamaya, right? They are working under the material energy of the Lord. But, and in the spiritual world, which energy is working? So Lord's internal energy, spiritual energy works, which is Yoga Maya. So what happens is, because of Yoga Maya also, they are completely absorbed in his loving service. Say if we take example of Mother Yashoda, Gopas, Gopis, they are completely in loving service of the Lord. So they are also bewildered, but in a nice way. So what Prabhupada is saying, either way, you are under Lord's Maya, so you are bewildered. So the best way is to, and thus we can't really know him completely. So the best thing is, it is best not to try to understand either spiritual world residence or material world residence. Best not to try to know you by unnecessary mental speculation. And now this is the third category, which is completely the mental speculators. So for everyone, it is best to surrender to Lord. So this reminds me when it spoke about material and this material and spiritual world and both the energies. I was thinking spontaneously when I read this Vidura. If we know in this third canto, first chapter, and yes, the verses that is coming up to verse 16, we know where Vidura lives. He leaves his bows and arrows by the doorstep of the palace of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, because Duryodhan's atrocities, basically he insulted Vidura so badly, he called him Dasiputra and many things that he should not have. And he actually says you are in the opposite party of the Pandavas and Krishna, and you are eating our food, but you are, betraying us, and all the many nonsensical things he tells Vidura. Even though he is his elder, he insults him. And that's when finally Vidura Gatavyataha, without being sorry, he leaves. Why? Because he's a very wise person. He's a devotee of the Lord. He understood that right now Duryodhan is under the material energy of the Lord. He is acting, this Maya is working on him, material energy. So he any sense you try to put in him, he will, even Krishna himself tried to make him understand, he didn't. So, and then on Vidura, obviously, now the Yoga Maya is working, that he is able to understand everything. So Vidura understood influence of Lord's external energy on Duryodhan, who was heading towards his own ruination. He was ruining everything along with him, his brothers, his father, everyone. And he saw that how Lord's internal energy was helping him to engage fully in devotional service, and thus he leaves and goes on a pilgrimage, and we can see his good fortune. He meets Uddhava, he meets Maitreya, and he is hearing this two cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam from them. So obviously this has happened by Lord's internal energy. So we can see, we can understand maybe, yeah, yes, Vidura is from spiritual world and Duryodhana is someone like from material world. Both are bewildered. Vidura in a nice way, and he actually understood and he said, right, I will go and hear about the Lord, and he asks such wonderful questions to Maitreya Muni, and that's why we are getting all this knowledge and understanding because of Vidura's questions. So he is in a nice way understanding the Lord, and Duryodhan is totally bewildered, not understanding anything. So whoever is, wherever they are, fully no one can. So best thing is to surrender to Lord, and that is the process. So I quite like those points here in this purport, and I was very grateful that I don't know how this relates or not, Vidura's example, but it helped me to understand this, that yes, we can understand in this way that how if we are not under Lord's internal energy, then we will be, taken over by sense gratification. So whose servant you want to be? So the best thing is to surrender and be under the right energy of the Lord, and be governed by that. And there was one really nice story, that how the devotion, if we surrender, then we will get the knowledge, the right discrimination and knowledge. And that is, related to this verse, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yashashmi Tattvataha. So, what is the qualification to know the Lord? It's not wealth, it's not beauty, scholarship, or strength. None of this. And in this shloka, Krishna teaches us the real qualification to know him is by loving devotional service. Only we can know Krishna and go back to him. So if we have love and devotion for him, we can easily understand him, and then we can also explain his greatness to others to the degree we understand. So without devotion, we can't gain knowledge of the Lord, and we won't have the ability to speak about the Lord or ability to write about the Lord. So there is this story that many centuries ago, in this very holy place in South India called Sri Rangam. Sri Rangam, there was one 5-year-old boy living there, and his name was Parashar. And he was a very good devotee of the Lord, very wise, good boy who had so much devotion to the Lord. He was only 5 years old. And one day, a famous scholar named Digvijay Pandit came to Sri Rangam. Now, this person, Digvijay Pandit, he is a champion in logic, grammar, and philosophy. So no one can defeat him when they debate with him. They have any questions, he will answer it in the spur of a moment. So he traveled throughout India and he would challenge scholars all over the world in debate, and he will win it. And thus he had a lot of wealth and fame. So he always had also 4 strong men who would carry him in a beautifully decorated palanquin, and thus he will go from town to town, city to city, and he will challenge other scholars, and then he will defeat them in debate, and thus he will win. So, and while he is going around, there will be so many brahmanas chanting mantra and shlokas loudly to him. So, and there was no question in the world that he can't answer. So, whenever he arrived at any place, all the scholars would actually run away in fear because they didn't want to face him or face his challenge. So when he comes to Sri Rangam, this little boy Parashar, he runs up to him in his innocent way and he says, Sir, I have a question for you. Can you please answer? So he looks down from his palanquin and he says, I am champion scholar in the whole world and you are just a child. So you go away. What do you know? So he says, no, but I have a question for you. So this scholar Digvijay says that you are so little and debating is a serious stuff. So go away. He insults him. So the little boy says that if you are really in knowledge, if you are enlightened, why are you putting so much emphasis on the size of my body? I am not just my body. Please answer my question. So this Pandit gives up finally and frustrated, he says, okay, what is your question? So the little boy picked up handful of sand. So his fist is full of sand and he held it right in front of his face, Digvijay Pandit's face. And he says, tell me, how many grains of sand are there in my hand, sir? He asked this question, how many grains are there in my hand? And the scholar was completely speechless. What would he say? Because he was never asked such a question. He just became speechless. How would he know exactly how many grains are there? So then this boy Parashar says to him that a person with real knowledge sees God in everyone's heart. He will see that God is in everyone's heart. Such a person is like a tree with delicious fruits, and a tree that has so many good fruits, they bow down. So that's like a person with many good qualities is humble, he bows down. Similarly, if you are not humble before God and his devotees, then all your knowledge is as worthless as this handful of sand. So, whatever is this handful of sand, that's the worth of your knowledge. So, unless we are humble, all that knowledge is useless. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says that it's not good to mentally speculate things because we will not know everything anyway. We cannot understand the Lord anyway. We can see that if Shesha, who is here, on whose bed Lord Vishnu is sleeping, if he can't know all the glories of the Lord, who are we? We are here somewhere on this planet, tiny dot somewhere. So we have to really understand this, that no, it's not possible. Best is to surrender because Krishna is looking after us and we know our identity is Jivera Swarup Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. And thus we are safe, we are protected, and our Lord is looking after us. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Ma Shuchaha, don't worry, just surrender to me and do all your duties nicely. And definitely you'll come back to me one day. So that's the best way to live, doing all our duties nicely with all our might and all our capacities, not being lazy, doing everything, but depending on Lord, Guru, and Vaishnava's mercy and blessings. Because by their blessings, even impossible tasks are possible. They happen because it has blessings. You have blessings of the Lord, and we will automatically get blessings when we please the Vaishnavas and Krishna by our service and humble attitude. And obviously knowledge gives humility and devotion gives knowledge. So yeah, speaking for me all of these things, and thank you so much for allowing me. Yes, so we just have two more shlokas left now, and there is not much discussion there, but I will read 46 and 47. So the sage Maitreya said in 46th verse that the Lord, being thus worshipped by all the great sages and transcendentalists, touched the earth with his hooves and placed it on the earth. So now planet earth is put down by the Lord, and the earth was placed on water by his inconceivable potency. The Lord is all powerful, and therefore he can sustain the huge planets either on the water or in the air as he likes. The tiny human brain cannot conceive how these potencies of the Lord can act. Man can give some vague explanation of the laws by which such phenomena are made possible, but actually the tiny human brain is unable to conceive the activities of the Lord, which are therefore called inconceivable. Yet the frog philosophers still try to give some imaginary explanation. So that's completely in line with what we have discussed in this purport. And verse 47. In this manner, the personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu, the maintainer of all living entities, raised the earth from within the water, and having placed it afloat on the water, he returned to his own abode. So, the purport, the personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu, descends by his will to the material planets in his innumerable incarnations for particular purpose, and again he goes back to his own abode. When he descends, he is called an avatara because avatara means one who descends. Neither the Lord himself nor his specific devotees who come to this earth are ordinary living entities like us. Yes, so there is nothing ordinary about Lord's incarnations and all the devotees and planetary expansions that come with him. So in these two verses, then Lord goes, he places earth back in its place and he goes back to his own abode. Thus we complete verse 47. So thank you so much for your participation. Any correction, questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept
Yes,
my humble
Mataji.
obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What a beautiful class, Mataji, you presented, as always. And may I say that your Sanskrit recitation is exquisite, to say the least. You recite the Sanskrit verses so beautifully. Thank you so much. And I've come across a mantra, Mataji, dedicated to Lord Varaha. Online, I went and did a small research. I've come across it. May I read it, please?
Yes, please, Mataji. And if you want to share it on screen or if you have it, or you can recite, please.
Thank you. It says, Om Bhuvarahaya Vidmahi Hiranyakarabhaya Dhimahi Tano Krodha Prachodayat. That is a short mantra devoted and dedicated to Lord Varaha. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Oh, Haribol. Thank you so much, Mataji. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that very auspicious mantra. Thank you. Okay, so if there's nothing, then we can conclude, and it's perfect. It's 8:45.
Mataji,
So,
may I also say so? Sorry to interrupt. Today is Jyoti Mataji's daughter's birthday, Devika's birthday. Can we
oh,
say 3 Haribols to Devika, please?
of course, Mataji, of course. Please go.
Haribol,
Hari
Haribol, Haribol. Thank you so much.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday to Devika. Happy birthday. Thank you. May Krishna bless you. Thank you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa
Sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Srila
namaha.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much.